We're so glad you've chosen to share your meditation practice with us at Sweetwater Zen Center. The following video will offer everything you need to know to start attending regular meditation and programming with us. Whether you're new to Buddhism or already have a solid background in Zen training, watching this video will help you enter seamlessly into the rhythm of our practice here at Sweetwater Zen Center.
Hi there, my name is Bobby, and I'm so glad that you're thinking about joining us for meditation here at Sweetwater Zen Center. We're a residential Soto Zen Buddhist training center, and so for us, the most essential element of practicing the Buddha way is meditation, or Zazen. The Buddha had his great enlightenment experience over 2,500 years ago through a dedicated meditation practice. And that same practice has been carried on and passed down to us for millennia. There are tons of different kinds of Buddhism, different traditions, different lineages. Zen is just one, and it may or may not be for you, and that's fine. We encourage you to shop around, explore different Buddhist traditions. And as long as you're looking for a spiritual path that feels welcoming and safe, but also pushes and challenges you just a little bit, you're sure to find your way on your spiritual path. One thing to note about Zen Buddhism in particular is that we put a lot of emphasis on following forms or choreography in our practice spaces. How we enter the meditation hall or Zendo, how we walk, where we walk, how we hold our hands, how and when and where we bow to certain things. All of these have very defined protocols. And I know this may feel a little uncomfortable or a little bit cheeseball at first, but just know that there's nothing special or holy about these forms. But when we bring our intention to everything we do, there's a real strong mindfulness that springs from that. And there's also a very beautiful and healing sense of solidarity when everyone has agreed to the same forms. Everything you're about to see in this video will help you to familiarize yourself with all of these various protocols. Don't feel the need to learn and memorize them all right away. I'm sure it'll take some time. Feel free to make mistakes, watch other people, and just fall in line as you can. It's all good. One thing to note is that we ask that everyone who meditates with us tries to follow just a pretty basic dress code. So we ask that you try to wear plain, preferably dark colored clothing, loose fitting, comfortable. This keeps a sense of oneness together. We also ask that you don't wear tank tops or shorts, and please no ball caps or top hats. Now that you have a little bit of context of what Zen is, let's go ahead and dive into some more of the details.
There are a couple of hand positions, or mudras, that we need to know before entering the Zendo, or meditation hall. The first mudra is called Shashu. Grab your left thumb, place your right hand on top, and hold it against your torso like this. Anytime we are standing, walking, or just waiting for something in the Zendo, we are in Shashu. Notice how doing this, instead of letting your arms dangle and swing, changes your awareness and presence. The second mudra is called Gasho. This is a common prayer gesture we see in many different practices and faiths. In Zen, the left and right palms meet, allowing as little space in between as possible. This honors the total oneness of all things. The tips of the fingers are in line with and about 6 inches away from the nose. The elbows are nice and strong, creating a solid presence. We don't want them to be lazy, and we don't want them to be too stiff. Try finding a happy medium. Feel free to follow the folks who look like they know what they're doing. If you see everyone going into Gasho or Shashu, just harmonize and follow along. Just this subtle practice will open a whole universe of mindfulness and care. Entering the Zendo has its own specific procedure. When entering, if you know you will be walking to the left after you enter, you step in with your left foot on the left side of the doorway, put your hands in Gasho, and make a small bow. After bowing, You put your hands in shashu and make your way to your seat or position. Similarly, if you know you're going to be walking to the right after entering, walk in with your right foot on the right side of the doorway. Put your hands in gasho and make a small bow. If you are coming into the Zendo and need to grab a zafu or cushion or a chair after you bow, you can find one in the black cubbies next to the door or the ones across the room. Grab a zafu and carry it mindfully as you find your seat. Please keep in mind, we always walk around the perimeter of the Zendo, never right across the middle. And we try to never cross in front of the altar. Once you've entered, grabbed your zafu or chair, and found an open seat, lightly place your zafu or chair toward the back of the mat, stand up, put your hands in gasho, bow to the seat, turn around to the right, bow away from the cushion, and sit down. The first bow to the cushion honors the thousands of years of practitioners who have carried this practice on for us, and the second bow away from the cushion honors all the people who support us in our practice today. We make these bows every single time we sit down on the cushion.
Hi, I'm Christopher, or Shoyu, and today I'm going to talk about assuming the posture of Zazen. In Zazen, we move our attention from the mind and into the body and into the present moment. From a Zen perspective, just assuming the posture of Zazen is a gateway to enlightenment. Since Zazen is the primary practice in Zen, this is very important to find a solid, stable sitting position that we can maintain and support our practice. There are a number of different positions, tools, little tricks we can use to find out what works best to support our body in this practice. So feel free to experiment with what works best for you. So in finding our Zazen posture, let's start with our legs. There are various positions we can sit in, starting with full lotus. So in full lotus, I'm going to put my right foot on my left thigh and my left foot on my right thigh. This is a very stable position, and it's also very difficult for most Westerners. If you feel like you can do it, great. If not, don't even worry about it. Maybe try half lotus, where we just put the right foot on top of the left thigh. You could also do what's called quarter lotus, where you put the right foot on the left calf, or you can use what's sometimes called the Burmese position, where both feet are flat on the cushion. Since one foot is above or in front of the other, different parts of the body are going to stretch differently, so it's good to switch sides regularly. Another sitting position is called seiza. In this position, you can take your cushion, turn it vertically, and then just sit on it in a kneeling position like so. Sitting back against the cushion, knees against the floor. You could also use a bench for this. Take the bench, place it against your backside there, and simply sit back on it. If sitting on the floor is too difficult for whatever reason, it's perfectly fine to sit in the chair. You'll notice that I'm sitting towards the front of the chair, which helps my lower back to stay in good alignment. Play around with these different sitting options and find out what works best for you, and know that not one of these is superior or inferior to the other. What's most important is that your body is supported in a way that you can sustain this practice. Now that we've got a good sitting position, let's talk a little bit more about posture. Sometimes it's helpful to pretend that there's a string coming out of the crown of the head that's being lifted up towards the sky, or sometimes I kind of imagine pushing up through the crown of my head, and this really brings my body up, and then if I relax, my spine is now in a natural, aligned, self-sustaining posture. And now I'm going to tuck in my chin just a little bit, and I'm going to be looking sort of at a 45-degree angle towards the floor here. And if you're able, it's actually helpful to keep the eyes open. Closing the eyes isn't the worst thing you can do, but it does lend itself to daydreaming and fantasizing, or even falling asleep. Here's a cool trick. When sitting either cross-legged on the floor or in a chair, there's a tendency to want to sit in the middle or towards the back of the cushion or chair. What you'll notice when I do this, look at my lower back. It's actually in an unnatural curve right now, which leads to lower back pain. But if I sit on the front half of the cushion or if I'm sitting in a chair, sitting a little more towards the edge of the chair, you'll notice that my back takes on a more natural alignment that's self-supporting. I can also roll up my cushion to give myself more height. I can even bring in a second cushion to do the same thing. That once again brings that natural curve into the lower back. Feel your weight going forward and how much more comfortable that is. And now let's look at what we do with our hands while sitting in Zazen. We're going to do what's called the Cosmic Mudra. This is also going to help keep our shoulders back. So with my right hand, I'm going to place it just a couple inches below my belly button. And then I'm going to place my left hand on top of that, with the fingertip just touching the first knuckle. And then my thumb tips are going to lightly touch, forming a flat horizon. If I notice my thumbs are collapsing into a valley or being pushed up into a mountain, I can take note of that and gently bring my thumb tips back where they're lightly touching and forming a flat horizon. Once we have taken the Zazen posture, we want to be still, stable, and immovable as a mountain. At some point, discomfort will arise. Notice that discomfort and how you respond to that. Notice if you want to run away or try to change it. And notice if it's something that actually does need to be taken care of, such as a sleepy leg or some kind of ache that may indicate a part of your body needs care. If that is the case, it's perfectly okay. Give a little gassho, adjust your position, wake your leg perhaps, and then resume Zazen. Now that you've found a posture that works for you and can support you in your lifelong practice of Zazen, let's take a look at how the actual practice of Zazen works.
Hi, I'm Kosei.
Hi, I'm Ari.
Now that you have a position that is comfortable for you to sit Zazen, let's look at what we do in Zazen. This is a breath practice. Begin by bringing your attention to your belly, or your hara, 2 inches below the belly button, and notice your breath there. If you don't feel it there, that's okay. You can keep bringing your attention to the belly. This is the seat of our practice.
So you can just focus on bringing breath right into our belly. Just normal, natural breath, not overexerting. And then one way we can start is by counting our breaths. And we start by counting to 10. So breathing in on 1 and exhaling on 1. Breathing in 2, exhaling 2. You can just keep doing that from 1 all the way to 10. And then when you get to 10, you get to start over again at 1. So breathing in at 10, and then just counting 1 again. And as you keep doing that, what might happen along the way is you'll lose count, because that's what our minds like to do. They start wandering, we get other thoughts, all of a sudden we realize we've lost count. And that's okay, it's super normal. You just catch yourself and then start at 1 again.
There is no real point in getting to 10. It's not a test. There's no reward. It's really about your attention. So if you're paying attention to the fact that you lost track, that's great. So there's another approach. It's to drop the counting and focus completely on the breath, being each breath. So noticing everything that goes on all around you, in you, thoughts, everything. But especially focus on the breathing. Breathing in, expand the belly, breathing out without counting. If that works for you, great, you have a choice. Also, take a look at completely merging with this breath, completely being it. Everything in your universe is that breath. Give it a try. See if you can let the breathing breathe you, where you don't try to control it in any way. It breathes you.
This might seem like a really simple, almost sort of boring thing to do. And in some ways, yeah, it is simple and boring. It's as simple as us just breathing in and breathing out, which we're doing all the time anyway. But with practice, a lot of practice, it can be very powerful. Just do your best for wherever you're at. If If it feels easy, if it feels hard, if you feel like you're not good at this, just meet yourself with kindness and compassion that you're showing up.
Thank you so much for joining us with this practice of the breath. And we hope that it serves you for your whole life as it serves us. And now we're going to take you to some more Zendo forms.
So once you've entered the Zendo, grabbed your zafu or chair, found your seat and sat down, we're going to start each period of Zazen with 3 bells. Then, depending on the schedule, we'll sit for about 25 or 30 minutes, and at the end of the period, you'll hear 2 bells. And when you hear the second bell, everyone goes into gasho and does a little bow so that we all end together. Then you can rock back and forth, stretch what needs to be stretched, and at your own pace, start to get up from your cushion. Once you've gotten up, turn around to the right, get down, and just kind of wipe off your mat and fluff your cushion so that it's ready for the next period, like this. Then, in gasho, bow to the cushion, turn to the right again, and then wait facing away from the cushion in gasho. Once everybody's ready and waiting in gasho, the jikido, or timekeeper, will hit the clappers like this. Then everybody bows. Make 1/4 turn to the left, and you'll hear another clap. At this point, without bowing, just put your hands in shashu, which again, grab your left thumb, right hand on top, and hold it right here against your torso. Now, we start 5 minutes of slow walking meditation, or what we call kinhin. We want to keep the same intention that we have during Zazen, but now we're bringing it into movement. This is a very slow walk. Notice your urge to want to move faster, and just simply stay in pace with your breathing. Feel each centimeter of your foot hit the floor. What does it feel like? Then, after about 5 minutes of this slow meditation, we'll hear the clappers again. At this point, you make a small bow in place, and we start doing fast kinhin, or fast walking meditation. It's important that even though we're moving faster now, we're still keeping the same intention with our mind. After about 5 minutes of fast walking meditation, you'll hear the clappers again. You keep walking, but now your hands go into gasho. And keep them in gasho until you get back to your seat. Bow to your seat. Turn to the right. And again, wait in gasho. Once everybody's back, you'll hear the clappers again. Everyone bows. And then we can sit for another period.
Usually we sit 2 periods of Zazen with kinhin in between, but sometimes during retreats we sit for 3 periods of Zazen with kinhin in between each period.
I know all this formality seems really complicated and confusing, but it's not. Just follow what everybody's doing and you'll be right in line. Bowing is an essential element of Buddhist practice. It is a practice of selflessness, of respect and dedication to service. In Buddhism, we don't bow to a god or a person in the sense of worshiping. Rather, we bow to our true nature, the wondrous oneness of all things. We elevate our big, true self above our small, ego-centered self. Make bowing a personal practice. What are you bowing to? What does selflessness feel like for you? There are various circumstances in Zen practice when we make full bows. Often they come in threes, and typically, as a general rule, whenever you hear a crescendoing sequence on that high-pitched bell, you know it's time to prepare to make bows. Start your full bow in Gassho. When the bell to bow dings, give a small standing bow. Then go down to your knees, using your hands if you need to. Place your forearms on the ground alongside your torso, so your palms are facing up directly next to your ears. Place your forehead on the ground and raise your hands up above your head. Take care to lift your hands up and not throw them backwards. After this brief lift, get back into standing position in Gassho. Most often, you'll repeat this process 3 times. If getting down and up isn't a comfortable option for you and your physical needs, it is perfectly fine to do a full standing bow. Start standing in Gassho, do a deep standing bow, place your hands by your ears, palms up, and do the same lift above your head. After the lift, return to standing in Gassho. Thank you for taking the time to orient yourself with our practice here at Sweetwater Zen Center. Once you feel relatively comfortable with the information in this video, feel free to join us for any of our scheduled meditations, programs, or retreats. Your intention to embark on the path of meditation is a service to all beings, and we aim to support you in that service. We hope to see you real soon. Thank you for watching. And you will be fine.